Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, coming at you with another video. It's about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. Lifestyle, entertainment, whatever it may be. Just whatever comes to mind, comes to the scene, and something if it's kind of worthwhile to talk about. So let's just get right to it. Some of you guys may agree, some of you guys may disagree, but all in all, it's just all up for open discussion, hypotheticals, and all that good stuff. All right, so with that, without further ado, let's go back to sunny California. All right, and all I got to say is yo, 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 right there. But yeah, destructive leadership, blue state governor grilled for effort to defy the Trump, probably about Trump deportation plans. Because Gavin Newsom's an idiot. All right, idiocracy at its finest. But you guys want to keep him because we could have recalled him, but you guys want to keep him. So, hey, it is what it is, right? You guys got what you voted for. Could have recalled him, not once, but twice, and it still didn't happen. And so it's just funny how when crime actually gets prosecution put behind it, when you get caught for committing a crime, it actually makes sense. It actually benefits people, right? It makes places safer. It's crazy how that sounds, isn't it? You know how that is, right? But of course, you're gonna have unhappy people, right? Like right here, BLM outraged, right? Uh, California made shoplifting illegal again, and it's a felony now if you do, I think, more than a couple times, and all of a sudden, BLM's outraged, calling it racist. Well, I mean, you see it all the time. Who commits things all the time? I'm not trying to point at any particular race or nothing, but I think what happens is you just happen to see, certain races get caught up and shown publicly, but people get caught up all the time. It doesn't matter what race it is. It's about who commits the crime, and more times than not, it's certain races and everything, right? But when you look at it here, I mean, it's supposed to make sense, right? You get arrested for committing a crime. I don't get how there's a workaround that, right? And so, look at this right here. Gavin Newsom point blank asked about Prop 36 opposition as arrests start being made, right? So let's take a look at this because idiocracy is right here in your face. He opposed Prop 36 because his legacy is behind Prop 47, which was supposed to be so-called criminal justice reform and soft on crime and soft on criminals, and you see how the result is, right? Everything has gotten so bad within the state, right, of California when it comes to crime that you have a mix of crime that's gone up because it's gone unreported because of defunding the police and all that other stuff. And then, what can you say, right? It goes unreported, or the calls get so long to tend to because you have less officers, right? Because so many of them quit the force at the same time because of all this defunding the police and backlash towards law enforcement. And so a lot of it goes unreported, or however, right? Catch and release, bullshit like that. So let's see what Newsom has to say about that.
Hi, Governor.
Since he opposed it and tried to fight it, he tried to fight Prop 36, which was to kind of, in a sense, restore what it used to be, right? Which is you get caught, you get prosecuted. I don't know. I think only liberal, progressive politicians don't understand that, but the common people do because we live in it.
Governor Monica Madden, ABC 7 News. Thanks for having us. Today, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins just announced the first person charged with retail theft charges under Prop 36 because of the 2 prior convictions. Do you know if there have been any arrests within the last month by the task force that are now enabled under Prop 36, and do you still feel the same since you did not endorse that earlier this year?
Well, I don't know the details of a local DA's charging of a specific case, but I do know this, that the legislature advanced 12 specific bills. Prop 36 never included organized retail theft, never addressed that issue, never addressed the issue of vehicle crimes, never addressed the issue of multi-jurisdictional prosecutions. It primarily addressed the issue of nonviolent drug possession. As it relates to the 12 bills that were advanced in the legislature, as you know, they'll go in effect in January. As it relates to Prop 36 in this specific instance, I'll leave it to the district attorney to talk more about why she decided to charge him.
There also, this week in Alameda County, have been at least 5 different smash and grabs. I mean, what do we do to continue preventing those in addition to the retail theft ones that you've been touting?
Rewind the tape. That's why we're here. That's the partnership that we're committing to continue to advance. It's the change the voters spoke loudly up as it relates to the 2 recalls in the region. Our commitments remain as it relates to supporting those complex cases in the Alameda County DA's office. We want to continue those partnerships with the state's Department of Justice. We want to continue to support supplementing the efforts here, but in return we need to see subsequent reforms here in Oakland that specifically address your issue. And as it relates to the smash and grabs, again, outside the purview of Prop 36, important that this is part of the conversation for the public. Those are included specifically as it relates to the package of bills that the legislature advanced and I signed in August of this year, the vast majority of which go into effect on January 1st in the new year.
Given that you prosed it?
I think that's fabulous. By the way, they'll have many more tools with the 12 bills that the state passed that are much broader, nuanced, and more inclusive than the 1 or 2 specific components as it relates to retail theft and Prop 36. Again,
to me, it's the trickle-down effect, right? Because shoplifting is just one component or one thing that is happening when it comes to arrests being made. But when you look at overall, the bigger picture is that a lot of crime has been retail theft and smash and grabs and things like that, and it all boils down to because nothing was being done about it. So to me, the trickle down effect is that once you start stopping those things from happening, to me it's a trickle down effect that it will start to slow down and then eventually stop those type of crimes from happening, and bigger crimes from happening. Because to me, he's trying to make it like it's a limited proposition, but it's much bigger than that, because you're actually arresting and prosecuting now for crime in general, right? He's trying to generalize it as if it's just retail theft only, but it's more than that. But a lot of crime that has been committed has been the retail theft and all that stuff. But to me, it's gonna be a bigger effect than what he makes it sound like. But it's better than zero that he's had in place for the last few years with Prop 47, because obviously it was so bad that we had to go back to make a proposition to undo a previous bad proposition. So that's pretty bad, right? Because the evidence is everywhere, right? Go look at all the videos, the social medias, everything that's been posted. Everything has been bad. So for him to make it sound like, oh, it's like he's trying to just blow it off. No, it hurts his ego. His pride is hurt just a little bit, because that, Prop 47 was kind of his legacy, which didn't do much for nobody. except he had his name on it. That's it. And he thought that he's doing everybody a favor, especially when it comes to incarcerated individuals. That he's doing everybody a favor. He thought he's doing California a favor in terms of budget, because we don't have to pay for all these people being locked up. But the problem is, we need to. You know what I'm saying? I think money is much rather be spent on keeping criminals locked up and away from harming, as in harming people, versus paying for illegals that come into the country and do nothing for us. Right? They come into our borders, they get all these benefits and everything, and so we get a flood of people that are coming in that's taking up our space, our resources, let alone you let the criminals out. So you're adding more people into our space and using our resources, right? And look what happens. It's all bad, right? And so, I don't know. I just think that Prop 36 is a bigger deal than what he made it sound like. And it's just idiocracy coming from this guy, because obviously progressive Democrats like him don't know any better because he's so elite, right? Don't know any better, and all they know how to do, every Democrat all they know how to do is spin, but can't do math to realize, oh shit, I've overspent. Oh, I should be spending less. Like, how stupid is that? That you had surplus of money just 3 years ago, surplus of money, to where you had to put that, you could have just put that away for a rainy day. You just never know. And this was just federal, almost like a gift of surplus money. And what do? You incorporate it into the budget as if you're just going to get that every year for all the years that, forever, right, in perpetuity. And look what you really got out of it. You spent it, and then next thing you know, you're in a budget shortfall for now the next, I think they're projecting the next, 4 years, projecting so far. So yeah, don't bust me with some bullshit. This guy's an idiot, all right, and you guys voted for him. That's all I gotta say.
Prop 36 tended to differentiate itself from the work the legislature already had done in this regard. It has much more to do with non-violent drug possession, up to 3 years felony and state mandatory prison sentences if drug treatment on demand is not successfully provided. The challenge is it locks in a requirement, but it locks out money, because at the same time it cuts drug treatment money for local government. That's a conundrum.
Drug treatment money hasn't been a thing anyways. And to me, what better way to get cleaned up than to actually go to prison, because actually prison can treat for drug addiction, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy to wrap your head around, but they can do that. They have resources within the prison system to treat that. And so there is no conundrum. It's just him trying to spin something of a positive into a negative.
For local municipalities, and one that I'm very concerned about, and we're continuing.
And when you think about it, treatment hasn't really done nothing, because they're still out in the streets doing the same thing, probably worse, and committing crime after crime after crime. So yeah, there is no treatment for drug addiction currently, as there is, because if there was, there'd be less of these happening.
Continue to remain concerned about, and therein lies my concern and opposition to that initiative. Not on the retail theft side, quite the contrary. We went back to 2021 when we established this new task force and framework. Hundreds of millions of dollars have invested in this space, and a much more comprehensive approach to addressing these issues in those package of bills. So I applaud any effort to address the issue of retail theft. I've been applauding that for years and years, and I'm very grateful to the work.
Bullshit. Exactly. Gavin protects criminals at your expense. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that he's a joke, right? Everybody knows he's a joke. That's why. See, look at the comments. 25 billion missing. I did a video of that the other day. 24 billion missing, right? How can it be missing, right? Or unaccounted for? I mean, in any other job, you'd be fired, right? But Democrats don't like firing people. That's one thing about them. They don't like to fire people and hold accountability. Here, all this talk about drug treatment and no word on what the plan is to remove foreign-born drug cartels here unlawfully and participating in selling narcotics in California streets. No rehab would be successful. Well, yeah, and that's another thing too. All these narcotics coming across the border, right? You have that going on as well. And so all I got to say is that since you guys are idiots as well for keeping them in office, because you guys could have, recalled them, we got to look forward to continuing to put more legislation that benefits us that overwhelmingly can't be overturned, like Prop 36, to shove it in his face. And not only that, we can't get Kamala back in office either, because she's next in line, and you guys got to be a bunch of morons if you're going to vote for her, because it's just going to be continuing the Biden, the Gavin progressive policies in California that we're trying to get away from. All right, so all I got to say is, man, don't do it. All right, look at this. So here's Nate the lawyer. He's a pretty good YouTuber on the
Hey, sorry for interrupting. Isn't that annoying?
lawyer
what if
side
I
of
told you
things.
there was a way to get rid of ads like this?
Some Democratic lawmakers,
Let's see
criminal
why it's
justice,
called
labor, and
racist.
other community groups urging California voters to reject Proposition 36.
Want to reverse us back to those days where they could lock up as many black and brown people as possible.
Prop 36 will ask voters in November to raise penalties for repeat thieves and fentanyl dealers.
A few moments later.
Lisa and Golston, let's start with Proposition 36, which asked voters to ramp up the consequences for fentanyl and theft-related crimes. It turns some misdemeanors into felonies. So this has passed overwhelmingly. The vote tally so far showing 70% of voters approved it versus the 29% who would not. Despite the broad support from voters in both parties, Governor Newsom and Democratic legislative leaders were major opponents of this.
A few moments later.
That's a felony? New laws. Stealing is a felony.
She even knows.
And this is Orange County. They don't play.
No, they don't play. Repeat, shoplifters here in California are learning the hard
They
way.
just grab
that
things
Prop
and walk
36
right out. I
is
mean, what do you
now in
expect?
effect.
So lo and behold, the state of California made crime illegal again, and things are happening. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the great state of California. Now, on November 4th, 2014, the good people of the state of California passed Proposition 47. Now, this proposition...
That proposition was kind of a bait and switch type of thing, right? They called it like Safe Neighborhoods Act or something like that. So they made it sound like it's benefiting you and having safer neighborhoods, but then it really didn't. Because they said, oh, well, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It's like a bait and switch type of thing, right? They try to sell you on something that sounded convincing because it was convincing enough that people voted for it in supporting, what they call safer neighborhoods, right? And then come to find out, it's the reverse, because it lessened the penalty for committing the crimes that now they're being rearrested and prosecuted for, because it makes sense, because you're committing a crime.
Did a lot
You should
of
be
damage
arrested.
to the state of California. It reduced some felonies down to misdemeanors and let thousands of felons out of prison.
But last night, California voters voted 56 to 43% for a new law that will reduce common drug and theft crimes from felonies to misdemeanors.
A person carrying methamphetamine in their pocket down North Chester yesterday would have been arrested on a felony and could have been sentenced to prison. Today, no.
Under Prop 47, there will be little to no jail time for anyone found possessing drugs such as methamphetamine or cocaine. And any shoplifting, forgery, or fraud under $950 is now considered a misdemeanor.
We can't arrest someone for a misdemeanor crime that doesn't occur in our presence.
The new measure would also allow thousands of state prisoners to petition for a new sentence, releasing about 300 inmates back into Kern County.
Now, Proposition 47 really handcuffed law enforcement, especially when it comes to something like shoplifting. Now, since Proposition 47 reclassified shoplifting from a felony to a misdemeanor, police could only arrest people for misdemeanors if that crime occurred in their presence.
We can't arrest someone for a misdemeanor crime that doesn't occur in our presence.
Not only that, they could just do it over and over and over again if it's under 950, and there was like no stacking of it. So you could do it 100 times as long as it's under 950, and you'll be like good to go. You won't even go to prison. That's how crazy it was.
So this is going to be very awkward for the public to accept.
Now, when it comes to shoplifting, most shoplifting events don't occur within the officer's presence. They have to be called to the scene. So if it's a misdemeanor, officers can't effectuate that arrest. Now, because there were no consequences for shoplifting as long as you kept it under $950, that left people to start shoplifting with impunity.
Surveillance video shows a flash mob of thieves about to strike an Apple store at a mall in Fresno, California. It took only seconds for 4 young men in hoodies to make off with $27,000 in iPhones and laptops.
Oops.
These frightened girls huddled together as the thieves bolted past, knocking down a Good Samaritan who tried to block the exit. Other Apple stores are also finding themselves prime targets. This Apple store in San Francisco has been hit twice.
Yeah, it's been happening over and over, Julie. Thieves thinking they can steal things with impunity, thinking they will never get caught.
It's happened again. 4 women run off after stealing from a CVS pharmacy at Van Ness and Jackson in San Francisco, this time just before 6 Monday night.
Hey guys, my name is Harris Heller, and I've been a full-time YouTuber for over 10 years now. And if you are a
It didn't take long. Within the first hour of being at Walgreens on Geary Boulevard and 17th Avenue in San Francisco, we witnessed multiple shoplifters.
And that's the thing, with all this shoplifting, it's created this environment. Locked up shelves and all that. And it's such a pain in the ass that you got to go over and call a worker to open up just to get something now, in a lot of stores, depending on what city you're in. It's just annoyingly stupid.
One of them even took the time to explain why he simply didn't pay.
San Francisco,
Off camera, a Walgreens employee told me they're hit anywhere between 15 to 20 times a day.
Take a look at property crime in the Golden State. Reisig notes we were below the national average until 2014. That's when Prop 47 significantly decreased the penalties for drug possession and thefts under $950.
In 2014, after Proposition 47 was passed, you actually had an increase in reported property crime.
Now, because shoplifting became a problem, this led to a whole bunch of stores leaving California.
Surging crime being blamed for the closure of an enormous 65,000 square foot grocery store in San Francisco. Whole Foods is temporarily closing its downtown flagship store.
Walgreens is closing 5 more stores in San Francisco, citing ongoing retail crime.
Denny's in Oakland served its last meal today. After 54 years, the restaurant shut down for good, citing concerns over crime.
Now, we would all think this horrible
The first
law would have
In-N-Out burger to ever closed in the history of In-N-Out closed in Oakland, you know what I'm saying? Because of crime, once again, right? Rising crime.
But this is California, and they had to go farther. So first, they hired all these progressive prosecutors to go into DA's offices
George Soros-backed
and not
progressives.
prosecute crime.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Boudin didn't waste any time stirring things up. His vision is simple: lock up fewer people. It's the same progressive platform that swept a wave of other rookie DAs into office across the country, including Marilyn Mosby in Baltimore in 2015 and Larry Krasner in Philadelphia 3 years later.
Then all these cities started defunding their police departments, thinking that, hey, we don't need police because the police departments were racist.
Defund the police. What does that mean? The Los Angeles City Council approved a $150 million cut to the Los Angeles Police Department's budget on July 1st. Those funds will instead go towards services like mental health and housing. The proposal to defund the police was brought by the People's Budget LA, which is a coalition led by the Black Lives Matter Los Angeles chapter. Their proposal
Black
in
Lives
June
Matter
called for
has
a
proven to be a
90%
fraud
LAPD
too.
budget cut.
In Oakland now, where about 90 minutes ago, the city council voted to slash more than $17 million from the police budget. That money will be redirected into social services over the next 2 years.
So this led to an unforeseen consequence, like crime exploding.
Data is concerning. Nationwide, violent crime decreased in 2022, but here in California, violent crime increased for the second year in a row. Take a look at this data. After a plateau during COVID, violent crime here spiked.
And a lot of it's
even though it
unreported,
dropped
too.
across the nation.
Now, with all these liberal policies essentially killing the state of California, something very interesting happened. During the last presidential election, Trump didn't win the state of California, but he damn sure did better than any Republican has done
as
in a
red as
generation.
ever.
Check it out.
In the state of California, Donald Trump flipped 10 blue counties into red counties. Let's take a look at the map. This is the electoral map. First one on the left-hand side, of course, is from 2020. And then, oh, would you look at that? One of the most liberal parts.
I'm surprised the border counties where all the illegals are coming in are not turning red, because it's like they're welcoming illegals and rather than anti-illegal. But hey, it's San Diego County and all that. They're a bunch of numbnuts along the, just like how the rest of the West Coast is here, San Francisco, LA, progressive idiots.
Parts of the country has become increasingly red. I wonder why that happened.
So now that brings us back to Proposition 47 that essentially made shoplifting and some minor crimes legal, and on top of that released thousands of felons back in the community. Well, on the California ballot, there was a repeal of Proposition 47, and this time it was called Proposition 36.
Prop 36 would roll back changes to criminal laws in California that were made by voters a decade ago.
See, it rolls back everything. See how Gavin Newsom tried to spin it as if it's only going to fix a certain area of crime? No, it fixes crime in itself. That if you commit a crime, you're going to get arrested. You're going to get locked up. You're going to get prosecuted. I mean, who would not want that except Newsom?
In the year 2014, California voters passed Prop 47, downgrading a bunch of drug and theft crimes from felonies to misdemeanors. Prop 36 would reverse many of those changes. Right now, California laws make it a misdemeanor to steal property worth $950 or less. Under Prop 36, that crime would become a felony if the offender had 2 prior theft convictions.
So opponents to Prop 36 promptly came out and called this bill racist, if this was a racist attempt to harm black and brown people.
It's almost like they're calling themselves out, because they're trying to, he's almost saying that, well, black and brown people commit the most crime, so this is a crime. So this is a bill against them, all right? He's almost calling themselves out, all these protesters, which they're stupid, they're idiots.
Prop 36 reminds me of the bipartisan failures we should have learned from over the last 3 decades.
Want to reverse us back to those days where they could lock up as many black and brown people as possible.
But
So it's
California
like,
had
you're calling yourselves
enough with the race baiting, and they had enough with the crime. So 70% of them said, we're going back to a time of sanity. We're going to repeal Prop 47 by passing Prop 36 with 70% of the vote.
36 gotten a whole lot of attention. This is the issue over whether to reform Prop 47 and make changes when it comes to crime. That's winning big. We
It
can now
only
call
makes
that
sense.
Prop 36
I mean,
is going to pass.
So Prop 36 is now law, but not everyone has gotten the message.
Kern County's first felony case under Prop 36 played out in court Monday. This man, Dustin Towery, and another man allegedly stole 2 electric scooters from the Target at the shops at
Look like a Vinny
Riverwalk
skin color. He's
earlier
white
this
to me.
month.
Had it been before the passage of Prop 36,
he would have been given, if caught, which he resisted arrest, but if caught, he would have been given a citation and a promise to appear.
Now, that gentleman was the first gentleman charged under the new law. But remember, this law had been in effect for 10 years. Remember, shoplifting was a misdemeanor. You couldn't even get arrested for it. But now, with new laws, you can. And that's what this alleged shoplifter just found out.
It's a felony. Bitch, new laws. Stealing is a felony. And this is Orange County, bitch. They don't play. That's why I asked what county is this. That's where I went to jail last year and got on probation for a year for stealing out of Target.
Now, police identify these women allegedly through surveillance footage. Like, this woman's sweater seems to match the sweater of one of the suspects. And her friend has some very unique footwear.
Oh man, they were running out the store. $640 something. The trickle-down effect is that you're gonna see. Oh damn! They went to. I didn't know they went to 2 stores. Oh shit! 3 stores. I thought it was just 1 store. They actually went to 3 stores. They were trying to run too. They got lucky they didn't get tased or anything. Yeah, so I just had to play back the Nate the Lawyer segment here. I thought it was a very good video here. Very good YouTuber too, by the way, and very good lawyer. But yeah, so Prop 36, to me, this is just the beginning. We're going to see a trickle-down effect that crime is actually going to start going down. It's amazing how that is. But I wanted to show this to you guys because, like, you know, Newsom's an idiot, right? And of course, you know, when it comes to you know, crime itself, you gotta arrest. I mean, it's just common sense. I don't see any other way around it. So all I gotta say is, I mean, it's gotten so bad that he has to have CHP in Bakersfield. He has to have CHP in Oakland. I mean, what's next? Because the force is down over there in terms of the workforce for law enforcement. That's how sad it is, the state of law enforcement. But I think it's going to start turning things around and start favoring law enforcement once again, right? They always say it's always about how the pendulum swings back. And that's what's happening right now. This new momentum of, you know, this pendulum swing in favor of enforcing laws. Wow, it's an amazing concept. Let me see here. This is the weakest outfield throwing arm in MLB history. It's not even close. We'll just end it with this, all right? A little bit of a laugh and go from there. All right.
We all know baseball players who don't have the strongest arms, especially in hitter first positions like left field. So it isn't all too uncommon when you see a little noodle tossing out there. But what you don't commonly see is a player who's unable to hit the cutoff man on the fly. That's right, I'm not even talking about making it to home plate from the outfield in the air. I mean literally being unable to hit the cutoff guy in the chest. But that's exactly what Chris Davis, during his career in the major leagues, was often unable to do, uncorking some of the weirder looking throws you'll ever see on a Major League Baseball field along the way. And for a reason, it's a little different than your typical weak arm. But before we delve more into that, let's look at some plays first. Here's 3 separate times he fielded.
Alright, whatever. Anyhow, comment down below. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, stay up to date on everything we got going on. And all we got to say is that it is what it is. It makes so much sense. Just saying. Alright? And please, 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 alright, do not vote for Kamala. I'll see you in the next one.